Marriage is the triumph of imagination over intelligence. The second marriage is a triumph of hope over experience, said Samuel Johnson, an English writer of the 18th century. 2 centuries later, this quote still holds good. Second marriages, common in the Western world, are now coming to roost in India too. The increasing number of divorce cases in India haven't discouraged people from seeking matrimony again, because it is still considered a sacred and necessary institution in this country. But how far are they successful, keeping in mind the fact that we are still a conservative society, despite claims that we are in a transitional phase where we are embracing Western concepts quicker than we have in the last few decades? Hello and welcome to Gender Discourse. I'm Suhaila Kapoor. In today's program, we will discuss, are remarriages acceptable today, with a smile? To carry forward the discussion, I have an eminent panel of guests. I have Amrita Sharma, an author, who wrote, "What Did I Ever See in Him?" Dr. Kamal Khurana, a relationship counselor, and Varsha Narayan, a woman who remarried. She had a rough marriage and then decided after 14 years to quit the relationship and get married again. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Right. Varsha, I'll start with you, since you are our case study. What did you experience in your life? Do you think remarriages are still taboo in this country? How did your family react?
Well, I wouldn't call it a taboo, but it is still not quote-unquote acceptable. Not acceptable with a smile, as you introduced the show. And yes, the first hurdle that you cross in a remarriage is from your immediate home, and then the society comes later. But you have to understand that we live in a patriarchal society. So parents, siblings, cha-cha, mamas, they all have to answer very difficult questions. It's not easy in a patriarchal society to go against the tide and do what you want to do,
Right.
which I did. So that pressure was there always.
Right.
But you do it because when you decide to do it, then you just step into it, and you do it
Yes.
consciously.
Right. Kamal, you're a counselor.
Right.
What are the fears that a person who would like to remarry face?
So the very obvious fear that comes to the mind is whether the problem will reoccur, whether it will relapse. So will the marriage succeed? Will it not fail? So that's the first question, first fear.
Right.
Second, that will I be accepted? Because every person who's coming out of one marriage is finding fault in the other, which is very obvious. Of course, after the second, after some time, the stage comes where you see yourself, you introspect yourself. What wrong did I do? You know, what did I do to contribute into this? Because it's all pain. Now, the second fear is, will I be repeating it? Will I be accepted
Yes.
by my partner? Will I be able to do my best? So the second,
Also in the case of children, will I be accepted by the
that's the
children?
third part
That's
of
very
it.
important.
That's the third fear of it. So this is about me. Now third is, will I be accepted with my kids, with my other family members? Because this becomes a big issue. Of course, it's like a funnel, you know. Now when you're going for the second marriage, the remarriage, then the availability of a spouse is very less. You just don't get so much of matches as compared to when you're going for the first marriage. So this is the third fear which comes up.
Right. Amrita, you're an author. Did you ever have to, you observe people. So what have you observed in people who are unhappy with their marriages? Did you feel that they were ready to quit? Was it that easy for them to quit? Were they ever considering another partner in life? I mean, as an author, you're a creative being. I'm sure you've considered these ideas and you've also observed them.
Yes, in fact, most of the people that I came across, somebody who's been through such an experience, there's always that series of questioning, asking, wondering what went wrong, have I done anything wrong, like Kamal said, did I have any contribution in it? There are lots of complexities involved, and thankfully we are now moving towards a dynamic society which is constantly changing. There are lots of things which are acceptable, including remarriages now. That's because people are more willing to kind of forget that like a bad dream and move on. They are not willing to kind of compromise and stay on, which I think is a big development.
Right. Varsha, I believe when your daughter got married,
Yes.
You were not allowed by your daughter's in-laws to attend the wedding because you're a remarried woman. Is
Yes.
that true? Would you
I
like
could
to
not. I could
describe
not attend that
experience
marriage.
to us?
Yes, I could not attend that marriage. But if I look at it from her perspective, it's fine, because for them I was not her legal mother anymore. I was just her biological mother. And when you make a conscious decision to move out of a home and make a new home, then you know that with it comes a lot of other problems. And if you know that you're aware of those problems and you accept it, then you don't. It did pain, but to say that it did not pain would be wrong. It did hurt, it did pain. But for me, it was more important that my daughter was marrying a man that she loved.
Right.
And she dated him for 10 years, so I was very, very happy for her. So my physical presence was not important, my soul was there with her.
But yet, Varsha, you were looking after all three children, you and your husband Nilanjan. I mean,
Yes.
to for them to be staying with you and you looking after them and yet not being allowed to the wedding is something pretty, I think, strange.
I won't call it strange, but yes, it was a scenario which had to happen, and it happened. And you have
Did
to
you and
accept.
Nilanjan not decide to sort of fight this
No,
and argue
no,
it out?
no. For me, the pleasure of my daughter, my children was most important. And for me, the presence of the other two siblings for her marriage was more important for me. And that was happening.
Right.
So I was very happy that she was marrying the man she loved. At the end of it, we all want to be loved. And
Okay,
there was
has-
this man who loved her so much.
Right, but has
So-
has his family accepted you now, or
Yes.
it's not as
I
strange
think
as
time
it
is the
was?
greatest healer, Sohaila. And
Right.
with time, everything heals. And I'm happy that it has healed.
Wonderful.
We have grandchildren, and things have changed today.
I must say you're very large-hearted.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
don't you think
Yeah,
so? You
yeah.
agree?
So I
Yes.
actually respect her for the fact that she accepted her daughter's
Put her daughter's
yeah.
happiness
So
before.
she was very objective in
Yes,
that, and
yes.
it calls for a lot of guts to do this.
Yeah.
That
Before
is
the
the role of an
humiliation you
Indian
must have
mother. As a mother, that's a big difference between a mother and a father. A mother will always put her children before her.
Always.
And with me, I had these 3 children, and for me, they were more important to me than anything in this life. I would never have traded them for anything.
Right.
So their happiness was primary.
Yeah. So taking off from what we've just talked with Varsha, do you feel that remarried people have a sense of inferiority when they compare themselves to their friends whose first marriages have worked? What do you feel? Have you had cases like that, people coming and discussing
They're
that?
they're coming, and before even that, the problem starts, actually you're right, so the problem starts even much before, when they are getting divorced. So even divorce is a taboo. Still, even however we may become a modern society, but then still there are so many people who, even in the West if you see, so we have clients coming over from the Western countries as well. I have got foreigner people who come to take counseling. So even they have this taboo. People from England, people from US, they have this taboo of divorce. And it does take a lot of time and healing, and so for somebody to come out of that guilt, that what did I do? I also did something wrong. And then this inferiority, of course it is about the society. So marriage as a concept is a promise that you're giving in the society, to the society. You're not doing it for your own self, you're doing it for the society, isn't it? And then when you're going for a remarriage, of course it takes some time to come and mingle with the society with that kind of a self-belief and confidence. So at the end of the day, it's inside you only. All the fears, all is inside you. How you deal with your own fears, your own esteem, self-esteem is something that matters.
Can I just add
Sure,
something?
absolutely.
From my own experience, I can tell you, there was never a guilt. And I don't think guilt exists that way for everybody. And you don't question why this marriage failed. But you do question that I wish it had worked. Because at the end of it, the 2 seniors move on in life. It is the children who get affected.
That's true.
So you think for them. And you ponder that. Then you ponder whether it is the right thing that you do. Mind you, no woman likes to leave the security of her home.
Yes,
You do it
absolutely.
not out of choice, you do it out of compulsion.
Yes.
So then there's no guilt. Then you are looking at a better future for your children, because only if you are strong can you make a strong home.
Absolutely.
So you do that. So I don't think there's guilt for everybody, or there is repentance, or a question in the mind that did I go wrong anyway? Of course, both people would have gone wrong for a marriage not to work, and both people would have still been very beautiful people, but yet for them they were not made for each other.
Right.
I think they would look at it like
I just want to put in a point here. We were talking about the people who are getting married a second time, getting that complex, that sense of inferiority. Do you think the siblings, the children, get that feel? Did your children ever feel that they were humbled or humiliated or embarrassed in front of their friends because their mother remarried? Did you face that situation?
No, my children were very young, first and foremost. They were very, very young. They were just between 9 and 13, that kind. In my case, it was very beautifully accepted that my mother had left my father's home and they were there with me. And here she chooses after many years that she wants to remarry. So it was acceptance. But somewhere deep down in their heart, they knew that I would always be there for them.
Right.
So that was the
That
strength
is the
that I got.
confidence that the
was
children
the-
have, and
that
that's the
was
strength
something
of the
which gave
mother.
me strength.
Yes.
And at
yes.
no point of time did my companion ever stress on them that he was their father who was stepping into their life.
I see.
He always came across to them as the friend, and he said, I'm going to be your mother's husband, but I'm going to be your friend.
Wonderful.
Until date, they're friends.
And they're very much in touch with their biological father.
They're very much, I insist that they be in touch with their biological
wonderful.
father. Because at the end of the day, he is their father and I'm the mother.
That's
He's
true.
remarried, I've remarried. But that should not.
That's a very sensible decision. Yes, Amrita, you wanted to say
in
something.
fact, Varsha, what you were just saying, this equation, what she's talked about, that the children are in touch with the biological father, when that equation is very clear, when everyone has a certain place in their life and that is kind of properly, it's like strongly placed, then everything falls in place. And in today's world, in our contemporary society, the most positive thing has been that, we're always in the process of assessing where our relationship is going. If it's not working fine, there is just no reason to stay on. There is just no reason to kind of go through a difficult period. And one thing that I've always felt personally is that there is no reason for two people to stay together if they're not compatible. They might actually be good people. They might actually be two strong, good individuals. But the fact that if they don't gel, there is no reason for them to stay. Because two lives are being destroyed. If they kind of decide in very nice terms to go their own ways, each of them can find happiness. And I think everyone at the end of the day deserves to find happiness in life. And if for that they have to quit a relationship which is not working and then go on and give themselves a second chance, I think they should go for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue with the discussion after this very short break. Stay on the other sides of your television sets. We'll be back in a few moments.